Hello and
Emma,
welcome to the show. I'm so glad that we are back for take two. Take one did not work, so let's try this again. Welcome to the show, Arlene. I'm so excited to bring you on to Rebel Radio and have you here. Arlene is a fellow numerologist, a colleague, a friend, a intuitive, all the things. So Arlene, welcome. Thank you for being here today.
thank you for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. So tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do for the world.
Okay. I am a mother of two. I have two gorgeous girls, 14 and 12. I'm also an entrepreneur, and I am an intuitive energy life coach, channel healer, creator, mentor. And I am here to create impact in the world. I am here to help people to discover their own power, their own innate intuitive gifts, skills. I'm here to help people to understand that they are channels and that they are healers and that they are here to create.
I love that so much. I love it. So as a fellow numerologist, I am curious, what has been one of your biggest, most profound takeaways from understanding numbers and numerology?
Oh my God. Numbers are everywhere. Numerology is part of you. We are made up of numbers. And so the fascinating thing about numerology is that it allows for you to see the patterns. It allows for you to see what is coming into your life, what you are able to shift during that time. It shows you where you are supported and guided and where you are never on the wrong path. You're always on the right path. There's always room for more. There's layer upon layer. And when you can see what is supporting you energetically with the numbers, like it just gives you permission to be.
Oh, I love that. I've always said it's like a permission slip. And, you know, like when I first learned numerology, it was the most purest form of personality assessment I've ever seen in my life. But it's not just the personality assessment that really got my attention. It was the ability to see what's possible. And that's what I love about the numbers the most, is being able to look forward and go, oh, I wonder what could possibly happen here. I love that so much.
Oh, absolutely. It opens up so many opportunities because it doesn't put you in boxes.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like here we are, and you and I were quickly chatting about how you were seeing through your numbers that you are a speaker.
Yeah.
And here you are, and at first it was like, what?
Yeah.
As a speaker, a teacher, a mentor in all of the places.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when I first got my first numerology report, I was a virtual assistant working behind the scenes, had never done a Facebook Live. The idea of public speaking was terrifying to me. And less than 9 months after I got my first reading, I was doing Facebook Lives, and I ended up doing a Facebook Live every day for 3 years straight. And now I'm a host of a global podcast and all the things, right? So it just opens up that possibility for what you could do with your life. It's so cool.
Yeah, so cool.
So good.
And each number has its own consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has its own information. It actually talks to you. So when you can tune into the numbers, like, holy fuck, you can just do whatever. You can do whatever with those numbers, and you can play with them. And they come and they give you signs, synchronicities, or whatever it is that you want to call.
Yeah.
Through everything, through the animals, through books, through music, through the beat of a song, whatever. Yeah. It talks to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that you bring that up, because I know that it's really easy to Google your numbers and try to figure that out. And Google unfortunately doesn't give us all the information, because Google's kind of just giving you facts but what somebody wrote about a number a long time ago, right? Yeah. And that's what I see the difference between numerology and quantum numerology, is that quantum numerology allows you to tap into the consciousness of the number, because just like humans are evolving, so are the numbers. Yeah. So the numbers are always changing. They're never a solid state. I love that.
Right. Because you do numerology readings.
Mm-hmm.
And if that was the case, then every single reading would be pretty much the same.
Right. And they're never the same.
And they're never the same. It wouldn't make sense.
No, no.
Right?
We don't just go to repeat the same pattern over and over and over again. Yeah. So good. So on there's always this kind of subjective definition of what self-mastery means. And every guest that I've had on the show has a different definition, which is what I love, because as humans, we're all so different and unique. So I'd love to know what self-mastery means to you.
Mm. Self-mastery is really, it's being so landed in your body, in your mind, in your heart, that you are aware. And you may not always be aware of what's happening, but you are definitely aware of, what am I feeling in my body? Am I in my heart? What are the thoughts that I'm thinking? And then at the same time, paying attention to what's happening in the world around you and with the people around you, because that allows for you to see you. You can see yourselves without other people.
Yeah.
And so using that as a guide to notice, ooh, I see Cindy and I'm feeling this weird like energy, like there's something I need to look at. There's something there. And so what's that information that's coming through? Right. If there's no judgment in Cindy. Cindy becomes my muse to allow for me to see the mirror.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's the mastery piece, and the allowance of, or the understanding that the truth is fucking simple. It's simple.
Yeah.
And so if the truth is just one sentence and it doesn't add all of the emotions, all of the things, and I am sad because it's raining outside and I can't go to the park and I can't do this, like it's just, I am sad and it's raining outside and that's it.
Exactly. Yes. Because we tend to layer so much judgment onto how we're feeling, right? I'm experiencing a moment of anger and, society says it's bad to be mad and that I need to shove that under the carpet and not express my emotions. And I mean, recently I had a friend go into the psych ward and he was expressing anger and they drugged him for 3 days. That's what our society is doing to people. Instead of giving them permission to express, if you're feeling angry or you're feeling sad, and just allowing yourself to feel it without all those layers of judgment that we as human beings are putting on it, right? Just be mad and it's okay.
It's okay. And that's like letting go of control. I think self-mastery is also letting go of control, and we control everything.
Oh, we try to. Yeah.
We try to control everything, and people try to control us, and that's what we're waking up to.
Yeah.
All of the places where we are being controlled, not just within ourselves and in our relationships, but like from the outside world.
Yeah, it's everywhere. I know one of my favorite expressions is there is no fucking mountain, because my whole MO used to be, I'm going to control this and I'm going to build a mountain. And then I would climb the mountain and then I would be exhausted and burnt out.
Yeah.
Now that I've released control, there is no fucking mountain. And that's become my whole phrasing, is the moment I feel that semblance of control coming in, I just take a step back. Awareness is everything. And the moment that you're aware of that, you can just release the mountain and let it go.
Right?
Yeah. My clients always joke around with me because I sound like a broken record. Awareness is everything.
Everything. Like I got a new computer because my one broke. And it was interesting because I spent 2 days in quiet with no computer running. I had to go old school and write and do those things. But unconsciously, my body would automatically go to the mouse to go do something, or like it was too quiet, I would automatically go to turn something on, and it was out of my own awareness.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit, like what else do we do that's so unconscious? Because decision is so important.
Yeah, so good. So how has self-mastery served you as an entrepreneur?
Ooh, self-mastery as an entrepreneur. Well, that's a good question. It has really allowed for me to come back in. So in the awareness and in the feeling of what is happening in the world, like I could not land into the way of doing business where you have to hustle and be that boss babe and do the things and create, like, obviously, like create the funnel in this way and be on social media 3 times within these hours. And like, I could not fall into that because it just didn't feel right. Like it feels too hard.
Mm-hmm. It feels like a mountain to me.
It feels like a mountain. And so I think like 2 years ago, I was like, scratch this. I'm done. I'm not doing
Mm-hmm.
it. I'm gonna come into alignment. I'm gonna come into mastery of what does it mean to be an intuitive, heart-based business.
Yes. Yes. Yes,
Now,
and doing things when you feel inspired and like moving information out into the world in a way that feels good. I love that you brought up the posting on social media at certain times, so many times a day. I was listening to one of Brendan Burchard's podcasts not too long ago, and he was talking about how to promote your podcast. Well, as we all know at Rebel Radio, we do not play by the rules. I was told to plan out my podcast for a year before I launched it and have a full marketing plan in place. I launched it in 2 weeks because I don't fucking care. And I was so inspired to move this out into the world that I was like, I'm not playing by the rules. Brendan Burchard says, in order to promote your podcast, you need to be posting on social media 8 times a day, 7 days a week. I'm like, that's not who has time for that?
not me.
I like sleep. I like my social time. I like my friends. I would like to have a life.
Right. And so that's what self-mastery in business has really taught me. And even in seeing you, it's this, you are such an integral being, like in your expression and how you express yourself, that you don't care because you are doing this for you and nobody else. And because you're doing this for you, everyone falls in love with you because they want to be with you. And so it's like, okay, well, here we are and it's working.
It's working. Yeah. Exactly. So
Yeah.
good.
And that's
So good.
the same. Like I had to let those ideas go because who told you that? Like who said?
Yeah. And who said that what's good for one person is good for another person? Like you are the only one who can decide what's right for you.
Yeah.
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 So another conversation we love to have at Rebel Radio, as you know, is all about wealth. And wealth is a word that can be really triggering for some. As many of my listeners know, as I hope all of my listeners know, it's not about the money, but money is a side effect of wealth, and money needs to be included in wealth. But I am curious how you define wealth. What does wealth feel like to you?
Oh my God. Wealth is in my body. So wealth, I am wealth.
Yes. That makes me so happy.
I am wealth. And so in order to have anything and everything, you become it.
Yes.
That's the embodiment of it. And so in the last, I guess, 8 months, it's really been this journey of embodying wealth and becoming wealth and understanding the energetic nature of what that means. And knowing that money is the tool for wealth and that it's not coming from people, it's coming through people and it's coming back home to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm wealth.
Yeah. Exactly. I am wealth, therefore I create wealth, and wealth moves from me out into the world and then returns to me tenfold.
Right.
Yeah.
And so putting that out and it's like really landing into trust. So wealth and trust, right? Like trust that you're going to be supported by this expression of wealth, right? Like my computer broke, I had to buy a new one. And I was thinking, like, I went into the thought of, okay, money, right? And I was like, I'm not even going to go there. And I've already received the funds to pay for the computer. Do I pay it off? Done.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And that word trust, it brings me back to the whole control conversation we were having, because I know for myself, when it came to money in the past, I would constantly be trying to control the situation and thinking, well, if I pay that bill off and I manipulate money over here and try to make this work. And it was just this control game that I was playing, and it was not working in any way, shape, or form. And when I landed into that just complete surrender that I am wealth and I'm generating wealth within my own body, all of a sudden money started rolling in like left, right, and center. And I was like, whoa, this shit works. It's good.
And you teach an important piece though. You teach an important piece. So like here I am and I'm embodying wealth, like I am wealth, but I didn't have a place for it to land.
Ah, yes, yes.
And that's the most important piece. And people don't get that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That part is missing in a lot of teachings.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one thing to be able to call in all the money in the world, but if you don't have a place for it to go, if you don't have a reason for it to come in the first place, it can be really challenging. And I think, yeah, there's three pieces that I teach about around money and wealth is number one, let go of the old story because it's a bullshit story. Number two, understand the energetics of money and how that energy is moving and developing in your own body. And then three, stewarding the relationship with money. Because I always think, if I had a significant other who I never talked to and never spent time with and never wanted to even look at because I was afraid to look at them, that would be a really weird relationship. And I look at that as the same thing as a relationship with money. If we're afraid to look at our bank accounts, if we're afraid to greet our money at the door, I expect my money to bring me chocolate and flowers every day. And I run to the door and greet my money. And I'm like, yeah, I'm so glad you're here. Come on in. Would you like a massage? Do you need a drink? What do you need? Right? You spend time in that relationship. And I think that is one of the most important pieces that's missing in a lot of teaching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And a great teaching that I discovered, or a great thing that I discovered was working with all of these women who had been abused. There was so much shame in the body. Mm-hmm. And in the releasing of the shame, they came into a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I took Money Mojo where I saw the connection, because I couldn't figure it out. I'm like, how is it that we're releasing like these stories and the shame and this, and they're coming into money like easy peasy? Yeah. Like I didn't get it. Mm-hmm. It is shame.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, especially as women, but men as well, we carry so much generational and past life shame and trauma. And if we don't actually take a look at that, again, awareness is everything. We bring it back to that awareness of these are the stories that I learned when I was, 5 years old. And when we're 5 years old, we're like sponges. We just believe everything that's told to us. We have no filter to tell us differently. And so then we carry those beliefs into our adulthood. We're also never taught about money properly in school. We're told, get a good job and go to work and work for 40 years at the same job and retire and make sure you've got your RRSPs in place and make sure you've got good credit. Like, what a gross story. Who wants to believe that story?
Right. And then, and when you pull back and you look at control, and I'm going to invite the audience to do this, like pull back and look at control and realize that the energy of control is shame.
Yes.
Don't go outside like that. I don't like how you're dressed because people are going to think blah, blah, blah. Hey, you got to be a good girl. You got to be a good boy, behave this way. And all control is really with shame.
Yes.
We shame others to control them. Think about how much debt you have in your body.
Yeah. Wow. That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful. Okay. So on that note, what is one truth that you wish every entrepreneur knew?
That all actions are to be inspired actions.
Yes. Yes. Take out the shoulds.
Mm-hmm.
No more shoulds.
No more shoulds. Because
I get to.
And it's not, I don't want to say it's not hard, but it's not hard.
Yeah, it's not hard. There is no fucking mountain.
There's no mountain. Yeah, there are things that you have to learn and things you have to do and things they're the mechanical and the structural things that you might not like, but it's still inspired.
Yes. Oh, I love that definition. Yes, because sometimes as an entrepreneur, there are hard things that we need to do. And there are things that we may not love doing. But when you're inspired, you go and do it anyways, because you're so lit up about the vision and the dream of where you're going that you're willing to do the hard things. I love that you define that. That is so good.
And then you fall in love with it. You do fall in love with it.
Yeah.
My money date for the first week was like hell. Like it was not in my body. I had my candle going. I got dressed up, but like it took me a lot longer and I couldn't focus. Like I kept on walking around
Just like any typical first date, a little
right?
awkward, right?
So nervous. And now like it's just, it's easy. It's fun. It's like, oh, I wonder where my money grew. I wonder where my money grew. And you're noticing that like you're receiving money into your accounts and you have no idea why.
Right? I know, that's my favorite. You're like, where did that come from?
I got $400 deposited into my account yesterday, and I'm like, huh, who are you?
Right?
Well, thank you. Thank you for coming back. Thank you. Thank
I
you.
love that. One of our listeners just said, I hope my money likes me. And I just want to dive in on that one for a second, because what if money loves you? Not I hope, because hope is a fear, right? Hopes and fears are the same. You're hoping for something to happen. I love money. Money loves me, period.
That's it.
Yeah, so good. So if you could share anything with our audience right now about what's going on in, the world with all the things, everything coming crumbling down, what would you share with our audience?
That what is happening is there is a rise in our ability to see where we're being controlled. And so in that, some people need to see that really, really loud in order to see it. And so if you can maintain your own self-mastery while this continues to go through and continues to happen while everyone else is awakening, then you are better prepared to help others as they do.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So good. So good. Arlene, I feel like I could talk to you all day long.
Yeah.
I swear I say that on every episode because I love all my guests, but I want to thank you for being on the show. It's been an honor to have you here. And as always, we end Rebel Radio with one last question. What do you dream of for the world?
I dream that everyone comes to discover that they are creators.
So good. So good. Thank you for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.